Members, I'm calling to, we're going to start as a subcommittee. We need Republican members down here. We have 14 bills up. The hearing is televised. There's one bill for proposed consent, which is item number 14, SB 734 by De Leon. And the practice of this committee is 3 witnesses for each side for 2 minutes each. There will be one exception for SB 350 only, which is 5 witnesses each, 2 minutes each. And we will start with Mr. De Leon, Senate Bill 350. Mr. De Leon.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and good afternoon. Good afternoon to the members, Mr. Wood as well as Mr. Stone, and I look forward to the other committee members on both sides of the aisle as they join us shortly. Mr. Chair, as well as members, in California, we understand the threat of climate change. We understand the cost of air pollution and other environmental hazards because we deal with some of the worst air quality in the nation. We understand that we have a responsibility to act, not only for the sake of our planet and future generations, but for the health of our communities today and for the health of our economy tomorrow. This legislature has passed aggressive measures to rein in both our greenhouse gases, gas emissions, and other forms of harmful air pollution. And 3 consecutive governors, Democrats as well as Republican alike, have signed them into law. And when opponents of these efforts try to undo our progress at the ballot box, voters overwhelmingly upheld our laws. Now, as world leaders gather in Paris later this year to negotiate a global climate accord to limit the warming of the planet, they will all be looking to California for an example. Make no mistake about it. We have accomplished an incredibly important feat. We have demonstrated to the world that we can have a strong, competitive global economy and also reduce our carbon emissions. We have done so while also taking steps to ensure that those most disproportionately impacted by climate change, from drought, extreme heat, and toxic air pollution that causes asthma, heart disease, and a range of other health consequences, are prioritized in our policies and investments. These policies are delivering results, whether it's solar panel installations on low-income homes in East Los Angeles, Sacramento, or Fresno, or new electrical vehicles for working-class families in places like Modesto and Stockton. Thanks to our commitments and investments, Californians are breathing cleaner air and saving thousands of dollars each year on their gas and utility bills. But we cannot afford to stop now. Despite our successes, there's much work still to be done. That's why I've introduced SB 350, Senate Bill 350, with my colleague from San Francisco, the Budget Chair, Mr. Mark Leno. California is often at the vanguard of social justice. We're often at the forefront of economic innovation. And the challenge of climate change requires that we continue to press forward relentlessly and intelligently. The goals set forth in SB 350 are ambitious, and they will test our ingenuity and resolve. But we can and we must accomplish them. We already have done so in a very successful framework that is in place to do so. We have the know-how, we have the means, and we have the broad public support. The only remaining question is, do we have the will and the courage to act and press forward? Now, as they have in the past, and let me underscore, the usual suspects have sought to mislead, to confuse, and to intimidate policymakers and the public at large to prevent or delay action. I want to be very clear about this because what we're going to hear today is much of the same as what we heard last week. You will hear a carefully calculated blend of factual inaccuracies, logical fallacies, errors of omission, and scare tactics. I want to specifically address some of the claims made in committee last week. Several opposing witnesses made the claim that SB 350 gives CARB, quote, massive and unchecked and even unlimited new authority. This is simply not true. According to this committee's analysis, and I quote, this bill does not change CARB's regulatory authority. Let me underscore and emphasize the following once again. This bill does not change CARB's regulatory authority. The analysis continues. This bill establishes a target that will require CARB to push harder, but still within the boundaries of existing law. Now, let me rephrase that, or not rephrase it, let me repeat it one more time. This bill establishes a target that will require CARB to push harder, but still within the boundaries of existing law. What are those existing laws? They are AB 32. They are AB 1493, the Clean Car Act. They are AB 2595, the Clean Air Act, and just recently, SB 375 and SB 535. Those are the laws on book that provide the framework for our clean energy goals in the state of California. CARB's authority is further fettered by administrative procedures governing adoptions of regulations, the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, annual review and approval of its budget by the legislature, Senate confirmation of its board members, and ultimately judicial review. Opponents claim that this measure will require CARB to ban or ration fuel. This is nonsense. Again, from the committee's analysis, and I quote, and I believe folks would like you to believe this is a scene out of a movie of Mad Max. The proposition, quote, the proposition that achieving 50% petroleum reduction will require banning or rationing petroleum is a red herring, end quote. Many of the arguments advanced against this bill are entirely based on false premises meant to distract or to stir irrational and unwarranted fear. Opponents want you to believe that California will not be able to achieve these goals. They want you to believe that we will not be able to compete as an economy if we implement these goals. They want you to believe that there will be massive layoffs and economic disruptions. What you will not hear from the opposition today is an acknowledgement of the tremendous costs of doing nothing. These are real, quantifiable costs that are already taking their toll on our communities and, may I say, our economy. And that will only grow in severity the longer we wait to act. This is not conjecture. This is not extrapolation from methodology that's in question. This is the overwhelming consensus of the world's scientific community. To ignore this reality is to invite disaster. Californians have a unique opportunity, Mr. Chair, as well as Mr. Vice Chair, at hand, and we must seize it. Our state is home to the world's 8th largest economy, and the actions we take here to address climate change are being closely watched around the world. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
We're going to call roll and establish a quorum.
Assemblymember Williams?
Here.
Williams here. Dowling?
Here.
Dowling here. Garcia? Here. Garcia here. Hadley? Harper?
Present.
Harper here. McCarty? Here. McCarty here. Rendon? Stone?
Here.
Stone here. Wood? Here. Wood here.
We have a quorum. We'll call the Assembly Natural Resources Committee to order. And please proceed. Normally the rules are 3 witnesses, 2 minutes each. In this case, we're taking 5 witnesses, 2 minutes each. Please keep to that time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, Cesar Diaz on behalf of the State Building and Construction Trades Council in strong support of SB 350. We want to thank the Pro Tem for introducing this important legislation, as well as the Chair for his work on this very important topic that has been by far the biggest job creator in energy policy in the country and the world. The state of California is looking at surpassing and blowing right past the 33% RPS. In fact, SCG&E is looking at 40% in 2016. There was a huge fear on energy rates, and those have not actually materialized. The underlying costs of renewables have actually driven down. We're looking at $120 per megawatt hour. That was 3 years ago. The newest contracts are looking at $53 per megawatt hour. Concerns of energy costs being high, loss of jobs, and businesses going to other states have not materialized. This policy is working. More than 6,000 megawatts have been built already. Thousands more are under construction. California is home to 3 of the largest solar projects in the world. The environmental benefits, better air quality, lower greenhouse gas emissions, and this is all despite the San Onofre plant closing down. Policymakers should be very proud of this accomplishment, and we ask you to stay the course on this very important policy. The RPS has created tens of thousands of jobs in the building trades in some of the most impoverished areas of our state, areas with very little economic diversity or opportunities. Those apprentices that are opening up in those slots can then work on other projects. So that also has tangential benefits to the local economy. They can go and work on refineries and retrofit some of the, based on some of the what's in this bill as well. And we understand that, you know, someone will get up here and we'll talk about jobs escaping California or the hit that some of these industries will take. I would just like to remind, I think, this body and this committee, in a couple of years ago, we had a piece of legislation that transformed refining, and we were looking at imported construction workers from Texas, Louisiana, as far away as Florida, pouring into California to work on these refineries. We hear there's a jobs report out there that the refiners are putting out about jobs basically being lost, but it doesn't really materialize. What we have is skilled workers here ready to do this work. This bill will create that need, but we actually need to tell the industry and send a message that they need to hire California skilled workers. They're bypassing it by the tens of the thousands. We had situations in certain towns in Northern California where they thought they had a homeless population explosion, and it ended up being that there was just refinery construction workers sleeping in their cars. That's how low they're being paid. So we ask that you look at this straightforward policy and support it for all the jobs that will benefit by it. Thank you.
Thank you. And 2 minutes.
Good afternoon. I'm Rochelle Reyes-Wenger, Director of Public Policy and Community Advocacy for Dignity Health. On behalf of my organization, I'm grateful for the opportunity to testify before this committee in strong support of SB 350. As the largest private nonprofit health system and Medi-Cal provider in the state, we have 33 hospitals and over $15.8 billion in assets and 55,000 FTEs. Our commitment to sustainability is about delivering care in a way that demonstrates human kindness and also ensures a financially stable organization. We try to lead by example. We've reduced our carbon emissions to 26.4% from a 2010 baseline, and with plans to do more by reducing emissions by 40% in 2020. More must be done. We know this, especially during this time of sweeping change and challenge for the healthcare industry. And that's where SB 350 comes into play for us. SB 350 is what we need to update and align California's climate goals going forward. The Golden State Standards may read ambitious, but we believe that targets are not only necessary, but also developed with success in mind. We are especially heartened that consideration and focus is given to disadvantaged communities. This group's health, as we all know, is so disproportionately affected by climate change impacts. We know hospitals are energy intensive. That's why we've been working diligently to successfully meet our 2020 goals, which are to reduce our energy intensity in existing buildings by 20% and increase use of renewable energy sources to 35% of total annual energy consumption. We've taken many steps to reduce our own impacts. Implementing California's long-term climate policy requires a sustained, adaptive effort by the entire community, and we're willing to do our part, but more has to be done, and we cannot fully realize our goals if we do not fully have the support of state leadership and a path towards achievable state standards. California's climate policies are essential for the health of our communities and the transformation of health care. SB 350 takes the next steps to advance our clean energy economy and to create jobs. We know that this is good for our state and this is good for health care. California is booming. Growth is up, unemployment down, 74,000 new jobs created.
Thank you.
And so,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you very much for this opportunity to speak. My name is Craig LeMessurier. I'm with the largest home builder in California, KB Home. And on behalf of KB Home, I'd like to thank Senator De Leon and the state of California for helping to reduce the cost of clean energy sources such as solar power. 4 years ago, KB Home made the decision to build exclusively solar homes in Southern California. Since that time, we've expanded our program across the state. And with our partner SunPower, we've built over 4,000 new solar homes. This program has created thousands of jobs. We've significantly reduced our homeowners' carbon footprint and has saved our homeowners millions of dollars in utility bills. As the largest home builder in California, we strongly support SB 350 as we believe it will create jobs, help the environment, and significantly reduce utility costs for California homeowners. Thank you again for your continued commitment to the home building industry and for helping reduce the overall cost of home ownership.
Thank you for the opportunity for allowing me to speak before all of you here today, and thank you, Mr. Chairman, and all of you for your leadership here at the State Assembly, and thank you, Pro Tem De Leon, for really having the bold leadership to bring such a bill before us. My name is Michelle Martinez. I'm a council member in the city of Santa Ana and also have various other roles that I play, whether it be the vice president of the Southern California Association of Governments or the president of the National Association of elected and appointed officials. But I'm here as a council member and as Michelle Martinez here today to tell you that I'm a strong proponent of SB 350. And these are the reasons being. One, as we progressed with AB 32 and SB 375, we have seen the progress. Here in California, you have millennials that are now not wanting to drive. They want to walk, they want to bike. You have that more so in my community. I represent the youngest community of over 100,000 within the state of California. And so we have a lot of people taking public transportation, and they're walking and biking. So the quality of our air is so more important today than ever before because we have a paradigm shift of how people are commuting. I believe in a balanced approach. I don't tell you here today not to support more vehicles on our roads. But what I do tell you is that you do need a balanced approach to support public health, to support active transportation, so that we can assure that everyone has options and choices. I also want to state that as we move forward, the economic health and vitality of the state of California, the decisions that you all make really affect us at the local level. And when you're dealing with the city like the city of Santa Ana, where we have thousands of our children that have type 2 diabetes, obesity, and high asthma rates, 90% of our students are on free and reduced lunch. When you're talking about wanting to support disadvantaged communities and assuring that, when we move forward with climate change, that we're wanting to make sure that there's equity across the board, think about the community like Santa Ana, that many of these families are out there walking, biking, taking public transportation, but at the same time, there are barriers out in our community when it pertains to the quality of air that they have to face every single day in their community. I just want to end, because I know I'm going to stick to our 2 points. I just want to end again. Here in California, we all know as a couple of days ago, we've reached the 15 million mark of Latinos. And we all know that a majority of Latinos are part of the disadvantaged communities that face the inequities that we have as it pertains to public health, to public transportation, to housing, to jobs, and we need to tie all of those together. And so, yes, this approach is extremely bold, but California has always been in the forefront. All of you have always been leaders to doing the right thing, and so I ask for all of you to be supportive, and thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I'm Dr. Linda Rudolph. I'm the director of the Center for Climate Change and Health at the Public Health Institute. I join over 24 health and medical organizations that strongly support SB 350 because it is a critically needed health measure. Climate change is the greatest public health threat of this century. It demands action now to protect the health of all Californians. Global health experts, including the U.S. Surgeon General, are united in voicing the urgent need to cut climate pollution to protect our families and communities from catastrophic climate impacts. There is no time to delay. Oil companies and other opponents of SB 350 are saying this measure is too costly and will harm our economy. As a physician, I'm also worried about costs and harms. I'm worried about the harm that air pollution, carbon pollution, and climate change are doing to the health of our communities, especially disadvantaged communities like Santa Ana that already suffer a high burden of lung and heart disease, and to the elderly and children. Recent surveys of physician members of the American Thoracic Society and the National Medical Association found that a large majority are already seeing the impacts of climate change on the health of their patients due to extreme heat, wildfire smoke, more severe allergy seasons, higher asthma-inducing ozone levels, and extreme weather. California is home to the top 6 worst polluted cities in the country. 80% of our residents are affected by unhealthy air that causes more than 7,000 premature deaths, tens of thousands of asthma attacks in California. Climate change each year. Climate change will only make this worse. And let's not forget the health care costs associated with the many ER visits and hospitalizations caused by pollution from the use of oil and other fossil fuels. These are real costs, and they will grow if we do not act now to implement climate solutions. But we can take action to promote and protect our health. California led the nation in kicking the smoking habit. We've saved 1 million lives and averted $1 billion in health care costs in the process. Now it's time for California to lead the nation in kicking our petroleum addiction. With clean energy policies like those in SB 350, we can avoid thousands of asthma attacks, hundreds of heart attacks, and premature deaths over the next decade, as well as at least $8 billion in health care costs. We cannot afford the human harm and suffering and health care costs from continued reliance on petroleum, and that's why I and so many other health professionals strongly support SB 350. Thank you.
Thank you. Witnesses against? Yeah, that's right. Sorry. Witnesses and additional witnesses in support?
So this is just VNT.
We're going to do a lineup. And we're going to ask you to move very quickly through the lineup. Additional witnesses in support do not offer testimony beyond their name, the organization you represent, and your support.
Sandra Spelcy on behalf of the Planning and Conservation League in support.
And Bonnie Holmes-Jen on behalf of the American Lung Association in California, and also wanted to highlight a letter from 25 health and medical experts, including the American...
Thank you. We will look at the letter.
Great. Thank you.
Jenna Price with the California League of Conservation Voters in support.
Mark Joseph on behalf of the State Association of Electrical Workers, the California State Pipe Trades Council, the Western Council of Sheet Metal Workers, and the Coalition of California Utilities, all in support.
Delaney Hunter on behalf of the California Solar Energy Industries Association, the Sacramento Municipal Utility District, and the Southern California Public Power Authority, all with the support of amended position, still looking for firmer language on DG in Bucket 1.
Mr. Chair, members, Mark Weideman on behalf of BYD Motors, an LA-based electric vehicle manufacturer, in support. Also here on behalf of Wireless Advanced Vehicle Electrification Charging Station Company, also in support.
Audra Hartman here on behalf of Eaglecrest Energy in support of the bill. Thank you.
Kyle Jones with Sierra Club California in support.
Alex Jackson with NRDC in support of the bill.
Parin Shah with APAN, Asian Pacific Environmental Network, in support.
Josh Malone for the U.S. Green Building Council in California in support. Kirsten James with Ceres in support.
Mary Selecki with E2 Environmental Entrepreneurs in support.
Matthew Lewis with Environment California in support.
Charles Watson on behalf of CalSTAR in support of the petroleum reduction section. Thank you.
David Reichmuth with the Union of Concerned Scientists in support.
Gil Topidi with the California Municipal Utilities Association, support if amended, looking for some flexibility for our local utilities that have fully resourced and curtailment issues due to large hydro, working with the senator on those issues.
Thank you.
Cassie Gilson on behalf of SunPower in support.
Janice Money Jones with the Independent Energy Producers representing renewables in support.
Trudy Schaefer representing the League of Women Voters in support.
Jim Lindberg on behalf of the Friends Committee on Legislation of California in support.
Good afternoon. Todd Campbell, Clean Energy in support. Strong support.
Bill McGavern, Coalition for Clean Air, support.
Stephanie Flanagan, citizen of San Jose, in support. A quick, you can't.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you.
Danielle Mills with the Large Scale Solar Association in support.
Kathy Carriage, living in a refinery town and representing Venetians for a safe and healthy community in support.
Quentin Foster, representing the California Environmental Justice Alliance in strong support.
Mike Dillon, the California Association of Sanitation Agencies in support.
Brian Early with Environmental Defense Fund in support.
Sakita Grant with the Green Lining Institute in support.
Erin Niemela representing Next Gen Climate Action and the Efficiency Council in support.
Jan McFarland representing Energy Source, strong support.
Juan Altamirano with Audubon, California in support.
Morgan Carvajal with the Hernandez Strategy Group on behalf of the Utility Reform Network, also in support.
Brandon Roberts with the Health Officers Association of California in support.
Kate Kelly with Sonoma Clean Power in support.
Jamie Miner with Marin Clean Energy in support.
Ken Jones with 350 Bay Area, 350 Marin, support if amended, if the natural gas promotion is taken out that was just put in. Methane releases from the ground to the vehicle.
Thank you. We will clarify those amendments.
Gareth Elliott with the Solar Energy Industries Association in support, as well as the Energy Storage Alliance.
Andrea York on behalf of the Clean Power Campaign in support.
Autumn Ogden on behalf of American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network, also in support.
Jack Fleck, 350 Bay Area, Beyond the Pump in support.
Ray Burnell with the California Catholic Conference in support.
Hello, Afrag Vargas on behalf of the Alliance for Solar Choice in strong support, and happy to see KB Homes in support too.
Ron Bjork of Marin, 350 Marin in support with amended removal of the natural gas and transportation. Thank you.
Andrew Grinberg, Clean Water Action in support.
Susan Glick with Sunrun in support of rooftop solar counting toward the RPS. Thank you.
Margaret Gladstein, Solar City, in support if rooftop solar counts towards the RPS.
That's the only way to support it.
Steve Wallach on behalf of the Alameda County Board of Supervisors in support.
Did I hear that right?
Andrew Antwi with Advanced Energy Economy Coalition of Businesses in support. Also, City of Santa Monica in support.
Phoebe Seaton, Leadership Council for Justice and Accountability in support.
Katrina Robinson on behalf of the California Local Conservation Corps in support.
Nick Lapis with Californians Against Waste in support.
Joshua Stark for Transform in support.
Rand Roble for 350 Bay Area, 7,000 grassroots activists in strong support minus the natural gas.
Julie Manowski Ball on behalf of the California Biomass Energy Alliance in support.
Melissa Cortez Roth on behalf of the California Wind Energy Association in support.